Good.
Yep. I just tweeted it out. We are good to go. Now
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 3 of training camp episode of Birds vs. Boys. You got myself, Kmess, alongside a very, very happy Aidan Powers because Philadelphia just achieved their 14th ever no-hitter. Thanks to Jared Lorenzen. Rest in peace. I am not Colin Cowherd, so we're not going to be bringing up dead people on this show. You saw that, right?
Yes, that was wild. I mean, he technically wasn't wrong, though.
He's not wrong, but again, I don't know how these national media people get away with everything they get away with. But anyway, so you are here. Welcome if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you for watching. It's in my lovely shirt. Aidan apparently hasn't done laundry in a week, wearing the same shirt as last week. But if you're listening, thank you for listening to our smooth voices. We are here. We are everywhere. And we need to give a shout out first to our producer, Vince, who does everything behind the scenes for launching our brand new logo. Aidan, it is fire.
He's the best because, well, he made the logo on his own, but anytime I have a creation in my head that I can't do myself, I have to take the creation out of my head, put it in his head, and then he puts it onto paper. So nothing but the best from him. And then speaking of creation, we have one of the best creators in the Cowboys social media sphere. Our good friend, Jay Tuck, will be on the show. If you're listening, he'll be on the episode. I believe YouTube, it'll be his own separate interview and separate entity, separate from our training camp review. But he was live in Oxnard at Cowboys training camp. A lot of different rumors swirling about how things are going for every team in training camp. So we're going to talk to somebody who was actually there seeing every rep.
And I'm just going to say one thing before this. I think we need to stop with the interception stuff in training camp, right? Lamar Jackson had 4 this weekend. Dak's throwing 2 here, 2 there. I heard Jalen Hurts had a horrible one at the end of practice the other day. But especially with these clips, and you and I talked about this last year, we love the training camp clips, right? They're fun to watch, but
it's like previews in a movie.
People pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
Like the people that don't fully understand training camp, which is a lot of people on Twitter, and they're just like, oh, there's another interception. They don't understand that literally the offense is running the same play 5 times in a row, or they're running the same concepts 10 times in a row. And the defense is like, oh, yeah, okay, I see that. I can jump it now. Like, defense is set up to win in those situations.
Yeah, so this is perfect because it's going to lead into my main point about Eagles training camp week 3. I just need to see them play a game. They'll play the Ravens on Saturday. Hopefully we see the starters for a series or 2. I have no idea how things are going. I feel like every reporter leaves Eagles training camp with a new take. So Peter King was there last week. He said after seeing them in camp, he thinks they're the best team in football and they're going back to the Super Bowl. Today, I hear that it's sloppy. Tim McManus was saying that the breakdown in communication for the defense was so rough that Howie Roseman had to tell Sean Desai, the new defensive coordinator, that the second unit should be in instead of the first unit and had to interject during a training camp practice. He later quantified his comment and said it was because Desai didn't hear one of his assistants. But everybody's been saying a lot of pre-snap penalties, substitution issues, and then they end practice today, and it's a bomb from Jalen Hurts right into the breadbasket of AJ Brown for a touchdown, and that's how they end practice. It could be going awful. They could be the greatest team ever assembled. I really don't know, and we're just at the point. I gotta see them play a game.
And we're at that point now of training camp where it's okay, bring on the football.
It's the point, and it kind of happened for Eagles training camp today, where it gets chippy because, like you said, you're just running the same play against the same guys. I've heard the same report. I love Jalen Carter. I think I've heard the same report about him every single day. He could be out of shape, or he could be the second coming of Reggie White. Mm-hmm. I won't know till he's on the field, but at this point, you can't keep going with the reports. And we're at the point the players are done with it too. You will be shocked to know which defensive player got into a little scuffle here today with Landon Dickerson. Can you guess if you didn't see it?
Did he play college at Tennessee?
Correct.
Is he on his last year of his deal with the Eagles?
Hopefully. Yes, technically.
Was he a first-round pick?
Unfortunately.
Is he not related to Martellus Bennett, but
Correct.
share the same last name?
That is correct.
Shocking.
Who could it be aside from Mr. It's always him himself? I am watching a team in the Phillies that seem to have pretty good vibes. Derek Barnett screams bad vibes. I don't want him around this team. I hope Nolan Smith is awesome so that I don't have to see Derek Barnett on the field.
Is there any chance he's a camp cut?
I don't know because I feel like they're going to try to preserve Brandon Graham. Oh, man, it'd be tough. It'd be really tough. He's like the 5th defensive end.
Yeah, because let's see. You got
a
Graham,
lot of pressure.
Reddick, Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat.
Those are the 4, and then Barnett would be the 5th. So
Barnett
it would be
would be
really
5.
tough to cut him.
Yeah, you need 5.
Yeah, this would just be brutal.
Unless somebody gets cut somewhere and Howie does his thing. But
speaking of Howie doing his thing, like this is just, we talked about, we've had this conversation about him all the time. For a while, I hated the way that he drafted. Recently, if anyone ever this podcast pops off and people go back and ever listen to the episodes from 2020,
we get Howie Roseman to agree to come on finally, and then all of a sudden his agent goes and listens to some episodes, and then it doesn't happen.
I would eat crow. I would apologize, but I would also thank him for just using the strategy that made sense of common sense. But like the Myles Jack thing, common sense. Productive player for the past 7 years in the NFL was just sitting there, apparently deciding to become a plumber, which he does know. Like he had to have saved a little bit of money, right? Like he doesn't have to unclog toilets. It's just you don't have to have a job after football that's like that.
You never know.
You never know, I guess. But yeah, it's just like, Myles Jack was there. They needed linebacker help. They got it for basically nothing, and a guy who's been solid in the league for 7 years. Just like this is easy, common sense stuff.
Where then the Cowboys are the opposite when it comes to the kicker situation right now, right? They have Tristan Vizcaino and they have Brandon Aubrey. Year after year after year, they just kick the can down the road. They're like, well, the kicker will figure it out. And like the same thing as last year, where they booted both guys out of camp and then signed Maher. And now it's, they cut Tristan Vizcaino for Brandon Aubrey, who was kicking in the USFL. I don't even think kicked in college. He apparently was like watching football on his couch and was like, I think I could do that, and just started kicking and then
living out the dream. That's awesome, though.
Oh yeah, but they're like, yep, we're good, and they're not even like maybe bringing in a Mason Crosby just to see how he looks or some. It's just the complete opposite.
Real quick though, that's such guy brain behavior to just be like on your couch and be like, well, I think I could kick that ball through the goalpost and then end up in the NFL. We've all had that thought. I could probably do that.
Yeah, I could probably do that. And apparently he went 11 for 11 yesterday in camp.
There you go.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, Aidan, but the Mojo Moment is back this season at Cowboys camp. I think you need to talk about that.
Did you see Barbie?
Me? No.
Holy shit. Mojo Dojo Casa House. The Mojo Moment, that's fantastic. Do you think they'll carry that on after Mike McCarthy gets fired at the end of this year?
I don't know. Again, you can ask tough too. But like I don't know if have you seen a video of like what happens?
I do not. I'm assuming it's very college-y when they throw
the whole team's like, in different portions, they're practicing or whatever, and all of a sudden on the microphone and speakers of the whole camp goes, it's a Mojo Moment, and they start playing the Sunday night football music, and then they like tell them what the situation is, like, game winning, you have to make this 4th down or hit a field goal to win the game, like it's, but like, and as they're just playing the Sunday night football theme. I guess that makes sense though, because they're on Sunday night football every other week.
We're gonna be like you guys this year. How about RJ Cho came on our show last year, was talking about how no one cares about the Eagles because they're never on primetime.
Hey,
you have 3 1:00 games this year, baby.
Have as many as you want. I'm so old and sick of staying up late and watching games.
It does take away from the specialty of being on Sunday Night Football if you do it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Okay.
You play every game at 8:00. It's not special.
Shoot me.
Ugh.
I got one other thing. It's in the NFC East, but has nothing to do with either of our teams. Have you heard this whole Eric Bieniemy story?
I was going to guess, but yes, that's what I was going to guess. Yes. I don't know who to believe. Like, is he too intense or are people just soft?
I think it's both. I don't know.
This was the shit that I was talking about when people were jumping for joy when Josh Harris took over the Commanders and thought this was going to be some cultural uprising for this franchise. Probably not. Like, these same stories are just going to happen. Hopefully there's just like less sexual harassment is all.
But it's like, I don't think, like, I never heard anything like that about Bieniemy in Kansas City.
No. I mean, the only qualm I would have is he didn't get a job for a while.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yep.
You know, like, is it because of stuff like this?
Yeah, which is possible. Players talk, coaches talk, and who knows how he interviewed.
And I was listening to a podcast. So this was basically like Andy Reid was like, told him, like, take this job. They're going to fire Ron Rivera. They're going to promote you. You'll be the Commanders coach in a year. But it doesn't sound like it's off to a hot start where he would get promoted to coach.
No, not at all. But hey, keeping this shit show going in Washington is fine by me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds very like the two brothers in Succession who are always just like bickering and trying to kill each other. Like Ron Rivera bringing that to the podium and being like, yeah, Bieniemy, like, guys are coming to me about him. Like, who'd get your job if you got fired.
Oh, yeah.
So keep it rolling. I will gladly. I was going to say take 2 wins, but we lost to them last year. I watched that play again. It still bothers me. Like, it doesn't matter. We made it to the Super Bowl, yada, yada. That game still bothers me.
Which
the Monday Night Football game where we would have got the ball back with 1:38, but Taylor Heineke flails his arms as Brandon Graham hits him. Ugh. Oh, what a way to lose.
That was the
everything went wrong.
The catch, run, fumble game too.
Catch, run, fumble game. They missed the face mask on Dallas Goedert breaking his collarbone. He fumbled, and then the that play as well. That was all.
That was
15 minutes.
Was that in? No, that was in Philly too, wasn't it?
It was in Philly. Yep. Yeah, we were 8-0, and that was our first loss.
Yep. Speaking of one more shit show, continued. Daniel Jones apparently looked like absolute ass against the Lions defense in their joint practices. Looked just horrendous.
Well, the Lions defense was pretty much the 85 Bears last year, so who knows?
I think they were the best. It was like them and then maybe Philadelphia.
The Lions?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm joking. They were terrible.
No, I was about to say you have a good stoic. You would be good at poker.
Terrible. So that's another good-looking thing for us. I think the Giants. I don't know. I keep flip-flopping if they're going to be better than people think, or if last year's run was just a fluke and they're going to be exposed this year. I'm hoping for the latter.
I agree. Them and the Vikings, I don't know what to think because they both won double-digit games, and every time they won last year, I felt like I asked myself how.
Yep.
How can you beat any team in the league and yet you have double-digit wins? So I don't know if it stays the same or if they take a step back. I truly have no idea.
Me either. It's going to be that's why they play the games.
That's why they play the games. But I need them to play the games because I am so sick of training camp reports.
Me too. I'm sick of training camp videos. I'm sick of people fighting over training camp videos. I'm sick of hearing about Shady McCoy at training camp. Let's just go.
I was okay with that because he shouted out Harrisburg, and that made it all okay. And then I didn't listen beyond that point, so I don't even know what he said about the Cowboys.
He said that he's boys with Jerry Jones and loves the Cowboys.
All I saw was the clip where he shouted out Michael Parsons. Like, we're from the same hometown. Like, I am also from that hometown. I'm just not as athletically gifted as you two.
That'd be funny if he's like, yeah, Aidan Powers from my hometown.
Yeah, big time flag football legend.
Maybe we can get him on.
We honestly might be able to. I think we could probably make that happen. I think so.
Shady or Micah or both.
Micah is my dream.
Yeah,
because it makes too much sense to not have him on.
I'm still working on him.
Yes,
since I know his next door neighbor.
we're in a real 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon with both of those people, where at some point it could happen.
What if we just fly down and like, I'll just call my friend and be like, can we stay at your house for like a couple days? And we'll just stake outside. We'll just sit out front
we'll
in
just
lawn
stay
chairs.
next door and until we inevitably run into him.
We're like Wilson in Home Improvement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's so funny. Great reference.
It's like act cool. Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you. I'm new to the neighborhood. What's your name? Micah.
Michael? Did you say Michael?
Michael? Mike? Oh
Michael
my God.
Person? Never heard it.
Never heard him. Not a big football guy.
No. All right, you got any more Philly stuff before we talk to the one and only Jay Tuck?
I have one thing only. It is related to Philly in general. The Trey Turner standing ovation was amazing. I was at the game. The vibes with the team have been phenomenal ever since. It was clearly uplifting. It clearly helped somebody who was mentally struggling quite a bit. It's like the third time I remember in recent history that we have done that for an athlete who was struggling in this city. Sometimes being the most passionate fan base isn't always just booing your head off and being relentlessly negative. Sometimes being the most passionate fan base is being as positive as you can humanly be and cheering as loud as you humanly can for somebody to bring them up. And clearly it works. When you hear the national media, they're waiting to pounce. They're waiting to say something bad about you. Don't even give them the chance. And look what happened. You brought them up. So if A.J. Brown drops 2 balls in week 1 and 2, you know what I want to see week 3? Cheers. And we'll be okay. Sometimes being passionate isn't always just booze.
Look at Aidan changing the course of the Philadelphia fan.
Yes.
Except when the 49ers fans show up.
That's different. Then we go back to old passion and spit.
Snowballs, batteries, spit, whatever.
Nothing's off the table at that point. I want it to look like the Battle of Gettysburg in the Jetro lot when they show up. No cheers or positivity at that time.
Cowboys fans, Niners fans. Question before we get out of here. Rank your 3 most hated fan bases currently, not all time, currently.
The NFL or just in general?
NFL.
I'd still say Cowboys is number 1. Would I though? I don't think I genuinely think I'd say 49ers number 1 because I feel like I have encountered a majority of the Cowboys fan base has been like, hey, our team needs to figure their shit out. Yeah. You know, like we need to win something. So I feel like it's lessened our rivalry
Niners
like
fans
a little
cry.
bit. Niners fans have been relentless. The TikTok comments, there are more arguments between 49ers and Eagles fans in our comments on a show that's called Birds vs. Boys than it is Eagles Cowboys fans. I would put them number 1. Not even, I'd go 49ers, Cowboys, Giants.
Boom. And that's exactly why I asked the questions that I asked.
Yeah. Congrats to the 49ers. You bitched and moaned your way to number 1.
All right, let's get Jay Tuck in here. Tell everybody how they can watch, how they can listen.
Subscribe on YouTube, closing in on a new subscriber milestone. We'll have constant content there. Anywhere you can get a podcast, so Apple, Spotify, you can watch the video as well there, which is cool. Follow us on Twitter. I'm not changing. And also on TikTok. Again, Vince is able to pull things out of my mind and create them on TikTok, and we are very appreciative of that. So follow us there as well. And all of the clips go on Instagram. Everywhere you can find us at Birds vs. Boys Pod.
Boom. Let's talk Jay Tuck, baby.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone. If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes. Bob Hope. I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.